The courtroom had already turned cruel before the judge even arrived. People whispered. Some stared openly. Others avoided looking at the black woman sitting quietly near the front table. Her head had been shaved unevenly just hours earlier during processing after an arrest that should never have happened. Patches of hair remained near the back, making the humiliation impossible to ignore. And Officer Reynolds knew it. That's why he kept smirking. He stood near the doorway with his arms folded confidently across his chest while the woman sat silently, hands resting in her lap, eyes lowered toward the floor. Not broken, just trying to hold herself together. "You should have cooperated," the officer muttered loudly enough for people nearby to hear. A few quiet laughs followed. The woman said nothing. That silence seemed to encourage him. "You know," he continued, "people act tough until reality hits them." The prosecutor glanced over uncomfortably but stayed quiet. Nobody challenged the officer. Nobody stopped him, because everyone in that courtroom assumed the same thing, that she was powerless. The woman slowly lifted her eyes toward him. Calm, steady, and somehow that calmness irritated him even more. Officer Reynolds walked closer. "You got real quiet now," he said with a grin. The room shifted awkwardly, because even for a courtroom, this felt wrong. The woman finally spoke. Softly, "You're enjoying this." The officer shrugged casually. "Just doing my job." But everyone could hear the satisfaction in his voice. Then the bailiff stepped forward suddenly. "All rise." The room stood immediately. Officer Reynolds stepped back confidently, still smiling slightly. The courtroom doors opened. And that's when everything changed. Another judge entered first. Older man. Serious expression. But he didn't sit down. Instead, he stepped aside. And everyone turned toward the second person entering behind him. The woman near the defense table slowly stood up. The same woman. The shaved head. The white blouse. The silent eyes. Officer Reynolds frowned immediately. Confused. The older judge spoke clearly. "Due to an administrative issue involving Judge Holloway's delayed arrival, Associate Judge Naomi Bennett will preside over today's proceedings." Silence. Complete silence. Officer Reynolds stared at her. Actually stared, because his brain refused to catch up with what his eyes were seeing. The woman he mocked, the woman he humiliated, walked calmly past him toward the bench. The entire courtroom watched in stunned disbelief as she adjusted the black judicial robe waiting near the chair. Officer Reynolds' face drained completely. "You," he whispered. Judge Bennett sat down slowly. Composed. Controlled. The shaved hair only made the moment more powerful somehow. Because now everyone understood exactly what he had done. The room remained frozen. Judge Bennett looked directly at him for several long seconds. No anger. No shouting. Just disappointment, so deep it made the air feel heavy. "You seem surprised, Officer Reynolds," she said quietly. He swallowed hard. Words failed him completely. The prosecutor looked horrified. Several people in the gallery exchanged stunned looks. Because now, every cruel comment still hung in the courtroom. Every laugh. Every smirk. Only now they sounded monstrous. Judge Bennett folded her hands calmly. "Before this hearing begins," she said softly, "I'd like clarification regarding why an officer ignored department policy during detainee processing." Officer Reynolds looked panicked now. "That's not. Policy requires medical approval before forced shaving procedures," she interrupted calmly. The officer's knees nearly buckled. Because she already knew. She knew everything. And suddenly the power he felt earlier vanished completely. Judge Bennett leaned forward slightly. "Tell me," she said quietly, "did humiliating me make you feel powerful?" Nobody breathed. Nobody moved. The courtroom had become painfully still. Officer Reynolds looked down at the floor, unable to answer, because there was no answer that could save him anymore. And as silence swallowed the room whole, everyone realized the same thing at once. The black woman he tried to humiliate in front of everybody was the very judge about to decide his future.